Hello and welcome to my channel. I'm Ivy. I will be doing a reading today, and this is for my earth signs. We are going over the last part of October 2024. So that'll be October 15th through about the 31st. Well, literally through the 31st. All right, so this is a general reading for my earth signs. So if you're Virgo, Capricorn, or Taurus, this is for you. Could be sun, moon, ascendant, or if you have any significant planets that are placed in an earth sign, or if you have an earth heavy chart. This is definitely your reading. I'm going to do a fairly traditional Celtic cross reading. It might be a little bit different than how you've seen them read. I do what works for me, and we're going to go ahead and get started. So I'd like to thank Mother, Father, Source Creator. Thank you for coming into this space, for clearing it. Thank you for the wisdom, the insight, the intuition to deliver this message. I invite in any angels or spirit guides that are here for help, for healing, for insight. I'm thankful for every person that is watching, and thank you for love, joy, peace residing in our hearts, in our minds, and for my sweet puppy that is barking in the background. So, all right, I've already shuffled these, so we're just going to do a little quick zhuzh and get started. So I will say up front that I do read reversed cards. I find that they do provide an additional element, nuanced energy, especially if you get something that's a really rough card. I love seeing it in its inverse position because it means we're coming out of that. All right. Oh, well, we could just stop right there. We've got the Empress for our significator. So that is a lovely energy we're coming into this with. Oh boy, and we've got some transformy energy coming through our challenges. So 2 major arcana. Yeah, so Earth. Y'all got some things going on right now. All right, let's go ahead and, oh my goodness. So if this is the big transformer, this is the little transformer. Yeah, you've got some major transformation that's going on. What I'm seeing in this position, well, let's just lay the cards out and we'll get into it. And here, let me pull these down. I know this table is tiny. I will probably get a bigger one in the future, but that is not today. Wow. Okay. Wow. All right. So we've hardly had any major arcana come up in the other readings. And that is not you. You are definitely my major arcana queens today. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So off the bat, what I'm going to say is what you are dealing with, what you are going through, is a galactic shift. It is a collective shift. It is this was part of your purpose. This was part of your plan. And there is just some major energies coming in that are both, well, I'm not going to say it's helping or hindering you. Like, they're coming in, and you're getting a little bit of a boot up your butt right now. So sorry to say. But that's good, right? Because that means we grow. That means we learn. And because we have so many of these upside down, I will give my little 2 cents worth on how I like to read reversed cards, because what I see it is it's a perspective change, right? We can, from minute to minute, this could be either way. So I could be upside down, I could be right side up. So we're in that energy. It's just how are we receiving and how are we seeing that energy? All right. So as great as this energy is that's coming through, and I love this for you, this Empress energy, there's some interesting things going on around you. So I talked about, judgment as that crossing energy. Let's go through what each of these positions means. So we have our first position, which is the significator. That's you. Our second card are the challenges, and this can be either internal or external. The third card are, I like to call it the subconscious influences. Maybe even our subconscious desires. Like this is deep, deep, deep down. Then we have the recent past. We have our goals. We have the near future. And then here we have, it's similar to the querent, but this is kind of like, what is the energy that you're standing in right now? Like, how are you approaching your situation? This is the environment that you're in. These are your hopes and fears. And then this is your final outcome. And so I'm going to say that in general, this transformation is difficult for you right now. There are a lot of energies coming in. They may be coming through so hard, so fast, and from all directions that you're actually standing upright because you have so many things coming at you. You're like, I don't know how I'm holding it together. Well, you're holding it together because there's just this collective and it's holding you upright. In general, I'm going to encourage you to find some time and some place to get quiet. This is very much a time of what is your happy place? So is it going for a walk in nature, sitting by a pond? I'm not even necessarily going to recommend reading or watching anything, because this is something that you want to be in a place that is going to allow you to connect with your higher power. And if this reading looks so difficult because you haven't connected with your higher power, then you can stop the reading here. Like that is exactly what you need. Whatever you've been going through, whatever this is, you blocking change, blocking, and it's like the universe saying, well, maybe if I send you this message, maybe if I send you this message. Like, this is a person who is in a little bit of a resistance to change era. And deep down, you want to change. Deep down, you're about ready to embrace. It's like, okay, that's the one thing I haven't tried, is just like surrendering. And so I will read these individual cards, but I will say in general, surrender is going to be your best friend. So you are coming out of a particularly gnarly financial situation. Like, that's in your recent past. And your goal, when I see the devil, I always see this as the trappings of our material world. And so for my sweet Capricorns that I'm reading for, you know this very well. This is the Capricorn card. Now, seeing it reversed to me says that you have identified this and you actually are starting to get out of this materially bound mindset. It wouldn't surprise me if you have gone on a journey of thinking about minimalism, kind of rethinking all of your creature comforts. Like you actually are ready for that change and you do not want to be bound by your stuff anymore. Now, that being said, your near future is giving me the Magician reversed. Again, mindset, we can flip this at any point. But where you are right now, we're showing that we haven't quite achieved that mastery yet. What's coming through is to remind you that giving up all of your possessions and ridding yourself of everything is just the inverse of having too much. So be careful that you don't just fall into the trap. Oh my goodness. I hope you can't hear her, but my sweet little dog is annoyed that I'm not in there. So hold on just a second. Daisy, settle, please. I will be out in a minute. Just chill. Okay, so that's what I'm actually getting. Once I put that into perspective, this is making a lot more sense where being actively pushing material possessions away is the flip side of the same coin of being owned by all of your possessions. So I encourage you to allow yourself to get to a place where stuff is just stuff. Whether you have a lot of it or you have a little bit of it, none of it has to rule you. Like that's a mindset, and it doesn't have anything to do with the stuff itself. It's all about how you perceive the stuff. Okay? So once you get that shift of perspective, I feel like you'll be able to walk into this magician energy. And the thing I love about the magician card is that he has all four elements. So we've got the wand, we've got the cup, we've got the, wait, 1, 2, 3. Oh, they're all here. Sorry. We've got wands, we've got the pentacles, we've got cups, and we have the dagger. So these are all for the elements, and he is indicating as above, so below. This is the card that is our biggest indication of, like, we get the fact that this is not real. You come across those videos and like, this is a simulation. Well, there are so many different religious traditions that tell us, yes, that in fact is true. This is a simulation. This is not real. And there is a way that we can walk in mastery over this three-dimensional world without it mastering us. And this card is that energy. So you're on the road to that. I would say if you have a goal of getting rid of all of your possessions so that you're not owned by your possessions, perhaps try thinking about what a more positive statement would look like that didn't actually involve your possessions. So affirming that, I don't know, I'm not even coming up with an affirmation. But that is for you to work out. Okay. So now we have this other card, which is like where you currently are standing in your energy. So it's similar to the querent, but it is slightly different. And this is how you're currently approaching it. And I would say that the Ten of Swords in the reverse position, I never see this as a bad thing because it's showing that you've basically hit bottom and you have an opportunity to push off from there. It's a giving up, but not a giving up because you chose to. It's like life has just beat you to the mat, and you get to take a couple of seconds to breathe and then push off from there. So again, you've definitely been going through it, and I am so sorry that is what you're experiencing right now. But these are major energies that are coming in, and so your life path, you agreed to this, and you've got the help that you need, you've got the resources that you need, and there are just some minor shifts that can take place. And so, for instance, this one right here, this is your environment, and when the High Priestess is reversed, that immediately tells me that there is this either a block or an outright denial of intuition. And so perhaps you are in a family or a friend group that is very much about what they see is what they get. They read the news, maybe even they're, on these different Reddit places getting quote unquote alternative news, but it's very much buying into the ruse of this material. And that is not the way. There's something else, but you haven't quite gotten to the place of trusting your own intuition. Like maybe you're sneakily watching, Jay Shetty or, some of these other like more intuitive or spiritual podcasts or YouTube channels. I am going to encourage you to start taking some time, 10 minutes a day, get quiet, still your mind, focus on your breathing, and just see what happens. And put in just that little message of, people are like, hey God, if you're real, give me a sign. Like, that's where I feel this is. And I know some of you watching this are definitely on a much more rigorous spiritual path. The interesting thing is that there are lessons here for you as well. And it's like you are thinking that there is something that you are expected to do because you're on a spiritual path. And what I would say is that's not necessarily the case. Check in with Source and go from there. Hopes and fears, we're getting the Hanged Man. And this card can represent a couple of different things. It can represent sacrifice, and it can also represent a new way of looking at things. And in this case, I think it means both. I'm getting that you think that sacrifice is required for this spiritual path. You think that because you've gone through all of this financial blah, it means that you're supposed to just give everything away, live this incredibly austere life, and make a sacrifice. I encourage you to use this energy as a way to look at things from a different perspective. And so that's going to mean something different to each of you. I don't want to get too far into what that could look like, but I'm definitely seeing a mindset shift in this hope, and possibly even the hope of like, maybe I don't have to give this stuff up. Oh, exactly what's coming in is the scripture about it's easier for a camel to get through the eye of a needle than for a rich man to go to heaven, basically, to get into heaven. And there's a lot of debate about what that particular scripture means. But I think across the board, many people have found themselves, even if they don't necessarily subscribe to, the Bible, they have found themselves in that particular mindset that if I'm going to walk a spiritual path, I can't do it with my material possessions intact. Again, it's that same devil energy upside down. Giving away all of your belongings is being tied to them just as much as keeping all of your belongings. So it's not about that. There's something else. And so this outcome, I love I love the Nine of Pentacles. Like, this is luxury. This is ease and joy, and pentacles in general are it's the material, right? This is a very dignified, this is a good way for pentacles to be experienced. And so that energy is there. It's just right now we're seeing it in the inverse. We're seeing it reversed. So what we're seeing is this Nine of Pentacles reversed, which can indicate that maybe your sense of self-reliance is being blocked or undermined in some way. I suspect because of this other stuff that's going on, you might be feeling insecure about your achievements. Like, maybe some things that you've started doing, you're actually getting some financial gain, and you're feeling unsure about the success or even the idea of success. It can point to maybe over investing in some material concerns. Again, material concerns of whether you have too much or too little, that's the same. And it's showing that you're not really enjoying the fruits of your labor. So, I encourage you to take a step back from these thoughts of maybe overworking or perfectionism, and start to nurture your inner self more, trust in your intuition. And it's this idea of what you see on the outside is not necessarily a direct result of the work and the focus on the outside. It's more a reflection of what's going on in the inside. And again, it's this idea of, once you can start to tap into your intuition, you can start to bring through these divine ideas, these ideas from your higher self. And I believe that you will achieve mastery, and it will lead you to this really beautiful, luxurious, unctuous place. It's not too much, but it's not too little. Like, it's very much that Goldilocks place of ease and joy and contentment. So I am happy for you, my earth babies, because I really feel like this is such a major shift and transformation, probably from where you've been in your whole life. And for some of you, it's just going to take a few tweaks, a few little things here and there, but you've got the energy. You embody it. And so I encourage you to stay out of your head and get into your intuition. So thank you all so much for joining me today. If you got something out of this, I would love a thumb up. If you've got a story of how this really resonated with you, feel free to leave that in the comments. I would love to hear from you. It's also a great way for us to start a beautiful community. And I will see you in the next video. Thanks so much.